Okay, I'm going to mute myself.
All right, guys, let's get started here. It's a couple minutes after 7, so we might as well get started. Anybody that's late, they'll come in, they'll miss the first little bit. So today's topic, most of you guys, a lot of you guys are from my list, but some of you guys are from Will's and stuff. But anyway, easy pay-per-call monies. That's what it's all about today. That's what we want to cover. So let's get started. Without further ado, there's my picture of Paulie D on the money phone. And hopefully I can help you guys get a phone like that pretty quick. So one thing I have to cover, though, like some of you guys know that I just had a new baby, and my other baby's sick right now, so we got angry babies in the house. So if you hear some screaming all of a sudden, just try to ignore it. Keep taking notes on what we're doing, that sort of stuff. I think it'll be quiet. I've almost soundproofed this room, so we should be good here. All right, first off, like I always tell guys on webinars, notes are good, the distractions are bad. So you want to shut down your Twitter, your Skype, all that sort of stuff. You don't want to have any of that open. I got to move pretty quick on this webinar today. And, just want to make sure that you guys are getting a lot of content in. All right, so here's the promise. This is what you're going to learn. By the end, you're going to be able to understand what pay-per-call is, okay? That's some basic stuff. You're going to know where to get the pay-per-call offers, how to get accepted to the networks. That was and some of the campaigns, because that was one of the questions a lot of guys had. My ideal offer criteria, so the type of offers I like to look for. Know where to get the most targeted traffic. I'm going to show you over the shoulder on setting up a direct linking WAP campaign. Okay, that's I'm basically just going to show you guys what I've done myself right now in terms of being decently successful at it. Like I still, and I'll talk about this in a second, but I still kind of qualify myself as a relative beginner to intermediate when it comes to pay-per-call. Not the traffic buying, but when it comes to pay-per-call, like I've only brought in a few K so far, nothing crazy, but I've found some nuances that a lot of people aren't talking about along the way. I'm going to cover the quality score issue. This is if you guys have tried to run this stuff on Google, you're going to understand what I mean by that. Tracking with phone numbers, that's another one that we're going to talk about. A lot of people wonder how we do the tracking, that sort of thing. I'm going to tell you how to take it to the next level. I'm going to give you an option how to do that, and then depending on time, we'll go through a Q&A. Might be just a short Q&A, so I won't be answering questions going along as I usually do. Just gotta just for time constraints, we got to move pretty quick. So very quickly for the guys who don't know who I am, because I know there's my buddy Becker sent a bunch of his friends onto the call, and Will obviously has some guys who may not know me. Real quick. 32 years old. I'm in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I started out with CPA marketing. I started out with a big mortgage, about 23 grand in debt outside of my mortgage, and a baby on the way. That was way back in 2009. I started with heavy with PPC in June of 2009. I was actually a member of PPC Coach back then, and I had my first $1,000 profit day. That was around October of 2009. I was debt-free by November 7th. Of 2009, and my biggest profit day just for CPA stuff is just over 5K so far. I'm a creator of the highly rated program Traffic Black Book. Some of you guys may have heard it. Some of you guys may have it. I partnered with Will on a forum called 6 Months From Today, where we talk about media buying, sales funnels, CPA stuff, but also just a variety of different traffic sources. And I fought pro MMA and Muay Thai for 8 years, and I have 18 fights. So there you go. I got a bunch of different, different facets to my life and stuff, and I just try to, take advantage of the extra time I have now, which is kind of a farce because I work about 60 hours a week right now, but that's my fault because I have too many projects on the go. So I still do CPA marketing, of course. I have my own products in and out of the marketing niche. So in and out of the marketing niche, I got a fitness product. I was introduced to pay-per-call by a guy named Justin Ellenberg. Some of you guys might have heard of him. He did about close to $1 million last year in pay-per-call strictly. And then I only started doing pay-per-call back in November of 2011. And so fairly recently, I kind of stumbled into it. Now, the fact is, I wish I'd started it when I originally heard about it back in late 2010. I originally heard about it and more mobile marketing in 2010, but I was doing traditional CPA stuff back then, so I didn't really venture into the pay-per-call stuff, but I kind of wish I had based on the results I've had recently. Now, one thing that you got to understand when it comes to pay-per-call, I am neither a master or a Jedi when it comes to it. So what that means is I've had some good results. I can tell you the stuff that I've had good results with, and but understand that I'm relatively new at it, so it should be kind of encouraging to you based on the results that I've had. Some of those, a lot of the guys on my list know this. I've had a few days where over $1,000 in revenue. That was about the one that was $1,000 in revenue. That was about a $350 spend in that area, and then the other ones I was usually running a high ROI as well, a decently high ROI. So not too bad. You do need to understand that my experience does help a bit. Okay, so this is like one of my CPA networks from November, just this year. For the month of November. So I have been doing CPA a long time. I've been doing paid traffic for over 2 years now. So when I say that the pay-per-call stuff is easy, that is subjective, right? So I have a lot of experience when it comes to the CPA stuff and the paid traffic. So I can kind of understand optimizing and spending thresholds and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try to teach you the best practices that I've used, and we'll go from there. So that said, let's get right into the content. Like I said, I didn't want to spend too much time on the intro and that sort of stuff, so that we have time for a bit of a Q&A at the end. So again, I want you to take notes as we need, because I am going to be moving quick here. Based on the time, I might slow down the speed and that sort of stuff, and then answer some more questions. So first off, let's get into what it is, some of the basics of it. What is pay-per-call? Well, it is a form of CPA marketing. So just like you guys that have been doing any lead gen or rebuilds or whatever else, it's going to fall under that type of umbrella. Okay. Now, as the name implies, the obvious is you're paid per call generated. Okay, so you're paid based on the calls that you can generate. Now, some guys do it with offline, with leaflets and that sort of stuff, but at the end of the day, it's based on a duration. Okay, so you get paid on any call that's over a set amount of time, and IVR requirements. Okay, what IVR requirements are? Some of the offers out there, they require that not only the person be on the line for 1 minute, for example, but the person has to hit 1 in the prompts that they're given. Okay, if the person doesn't hit 1, well, you don't get credit for the offer, and I'll show you where to find all that sort of stuff in a bit. The offer payouts, they do vary wildly. What you see on most of the mainstream networks are things between $10 and $50. Okay, that's what you start to see in the payout range is $10 to $50. They typically, like I said, have a required duration. This could be a minute, minute 30. I'll tell you the type of stuff I like to look for. So these offers, they can range from a variety of different things. It could be legal services, home repair services, addiction treatment. That was a big one that I ran there for a bit. Tax settlement was another one that I ran. They've got things like Visalis. If you guys don't know what Visalis is, it's a MLM. It's a multi-level marketing offer. They got guys that have run that on there. There's like roofing offers, that sort of stuff. There's tons of different stuff depending on the network you're on. Now, the majority of these offers are run through a parent network called Ring Revenue. Okay, Ring Revenue are the guys that do the tracking and all that sort of stuff. So if you're part of a pay-per-call network, if you're part of a few of them, you'll notice that the back-end interface looks very, very similar from one to the next, and that's because they're all running on Ring Revenue. Now, what happens is you're given custom phone numbers. Okay, custom phone numbers specific to your account. Now, anyone that calls that number is tracked to your account at your pay-per-call CPA network. Okay, and that's how your call durations are tracked and that sort of stuff, and that's how you get credit for the conversion. So it's pretty simple up until there. So let's look at some of those networks right now and where to get the offers. All right, so there's a bunch of main networks right now. There's the As Seen Everywhere network. There's Commission Junction, CUNet, Direct Calls, which is XY7. There's Affect Us, Epic Media Group. There's Google Affiliate Network, LinkShare, Media Trust, Mobile Leads, OfferMobi, PepperJam, all these ones listed right here, okay? So some of these, some of you guys might know all of these, some of you might only know like CJ and LinkShare and that sort of thing. The ones that I recommend to go after, and this is the first step of getting approved, are the ones that are not, you know, the big guys like Commission Junction and Google Affiliate Network. I'll talk about why in a second. You want to go after the ones that are traditionally like normal CPA offers, okay? So how do we get accepted? So the reason we want to go after those networks is they are CPA networks. They're normal CPA networks, and so getting accepted is a little bit easier than getting accepted on a per campaign basis and overall like the way Commission Junction does it. So let's talk about getting accepted, because this is a big question. Now, I left out Commission Junction, LinkShare, and ShareASale for a reason, okay? They are approval Nazis pretty much. And if you guys have tried to get approved on those networks, you see why you often will get declined to even get into CJ or LinkShare. And if you do get in, getting approved for actual offers can be very, very tough unless you're driving a lot of volume. So as I said, the other networks are very easy to get approved on, like any other CPA network. Mobile Leads, for example, is often there. Now, after me saying this, a bunch of you guys are probably going to run there and get approved, but they're typically very easy to get approved on. It just required a phone call, and I was able to get in. So that being said, just like with our normal CPA networks, approved or not, after you apply, give them a call. If they say that's not going to expedite your application, that's fine. Wait for the response. But if you're declined, then pick up the phone, and that's the easiest way to get approved. And you can start to clarify things on the phone. As a side note on CPA offers and getting approved to CPA networks, when I started out, everyone tells me, "Oh, I'm in Malaysia or I'm in India and I can't get approved." I'll tell you right now, when I started out, I was based in Malaysia for about a month. I had a Thai phone number, and I was applying with a Canadian address. Okay, if that doesn't set off fraud alarms, I don't know what does. And I got declined from about 8 out of 10 networks right off the bat. And all I had to do was give them a call, tell them why I looked so sketchy, and then go from there. Now, somebody's asked, this is a good question. I don't want to answer too many questions going along, but somebody's asking, do we need a website to get approved? Often what I like to do, I will say yes to that. Now, it doesn't have to be a website that you're going to run the offers on, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you should always have what's called like an agency website. If you guys want to see my agency website, you can go to dsv2.com. That's like DougSamVictor2.com. And there you go, right? So what you want to do is check out, that's my agency site, and basically it just talks about that we do design services and that sort of stuff. So that's the kind of network you usually want to apply to networks on. All right, so for offer approval, okay, what you want to do, and I'll mention it again when we kind of go through over the shoulder, but for offer approval, I want you to say mobile search PPC is going to be the way that you're promoting, okay, and mobile display, one of those two. Okay, ideally mobile search PPC. That's usually they like to work with a lot of search-based guys. You don't want to say things like Facebook and that sort of stuff, and the reason being is that's kind of against the terms of a lot of the offers. Same with CPV and stuff. Doesn't mean you still do it. I'll leave that in your hands, right? It's kind of hard to track where phone calls are coming from, so just kind of keep that in mind. But for the most part, my revenue has been generated from mobile search, PPC, and a bit from mobile display, so that's what you want to say anyway. That's probably where you want to be focusing your efforts. Now, once you're generating a good amount of volume and you can prove to the bigger networks that you're generating, 50, 100 calls a day, if you get to that level, then you can go after those bigger networks. They do have a bit more variety on offers, but you can still do a lot of damage on the smaller networks like Mobile Leads, OfferMobi, XY7, that sort of stuff. So keep that in mind. Again, I hope you guys are taking notes. I'm going to give you reminders like this. I tend to do that during the webinar, so just keep that in mind. Offer criteria. All right, so let's assume at this point you're in the networks, and you've browsed around, you look at different offers, and I'm going to show you where that stuff is in a network in a second here. But let's look at offer criteria. Now, unlike on the normal CPA networks, I will actually pay attention to what the EPC is here. That should actually say network EPC, not CPA. So this is a typical look of how the back end in your offer selection will look in the networks. You'll see a bunch that are listed all by network EPC. Okay, and then you'll see the offer payout right here. Okay, you'll see the niche that it's in and then the actual name of the offer. Now, like I said, I will actually take a pay-per-call EPC into effect when I'm trying to decide on what type of offer to go after. This is unlike on a normal CPA network. On a normal CPA network, I will look at EPCs, but I often won't take them seriously, and the reason being is network EPCs on normal CPA offers can be very misleading because you have guys that are running email traffic, guys that are running CPV traffic and that sort of stuff, and this tends to skew the EPCs across the board. So there could be an offer that's got, you know, a 10-cent EPC, and you might scoff at it on a normal CPA offer, but maybe one guy came along or a few guys came along and ran up a bunch of CPV traffic direct to the offer, and all of a sudden the EPCs are screwed up. Same goes with email traffic, except the other way. You'll see these EPCs that are like, you know, $5, $6, $8, and more often than not, those are email EPCs, so it's a little misleading. With pay-per-call, guys aren't, even if guys are mailing out the phone number, that doesn't really affect what the EPC is in the network. Okay, so that's why you're going to see really high EPCs. To give you an idea, a recent campaign that I ran had a network 7-day EPC of $450, but mine turned out to be $730. So not only was it in line with the network EPC, but it was actually quite a bit higher. Now, for those that are new to Ring Revenue, the Ring Revenue reporting, I need to keep something clear here. Those EPCs, they're measured across 100 calls. Okay, so it's not measured the same way. It's similar to how Commission Junction does theirs. So it's not measured the same way as the EPC on a normal CPA offer. So don't expect $394 per click or per call there divided by 100. So in this case, it's going to be, you know, $3.94. Now, someone's asking. This is a good question. This is one that I'll answer going along. Someone's asking, I'm assuming we need to sign up to Ring Revenue. The way it works is you sign up to the network, like Mobile Leads, okay, or OfferMobi, and they have normal mobile offers. Okay, they have normal mobile CPA offers, ones that aren't pay-per-call. And then you apply to the pay-per-call division separately. But the thing is, you'll more often than not get approved almost instantly there. Okay, as long as you get past the actual initial sign-up, which is like getting signed up to a CPA network, then you're more often than not going to get approved on the end there for the Ring Revenue stuff. Good question. So I'll next also look at the offer payout. That's another thing. What I like to look for is things above $10, ideally above $20 if the duration is where I want. Okay, and I'll talk about the type of duration that I look for, but really I try to look for higher payout stuff, you know, ideally minimum $20. I've always been like that when it comes to CPA. I always like promoting high payout offers like rebills and that sort of stuff, or cost per sale stuff. That's just me personally, but I haven't run any pay-per-call stuff that's around $5. There are a few offers there, but for the most part I go $10, $20 up. My most successful offer right now, actually, well, up until this point, has been $19.95 payout on a 1-minute duration. That's a killer ratio, guys. If you have a 1-minute duration where the person only has to be on the phone for 1 minute, but you get paid out $20, that's fantastic. All right, so what happens is you get to go in, and I'll show you where this is in the pay-per-call sections, but once we get into a network here. But once you're in looking at the description of an offer, okay, once you're in there looking at the description of an offer, the top part of the description is always going to look the same typically from one network to the next, okay? You're going to have a, it's kind of like a blurb. It's the same as on a CPA network for a normal offer where it tells us a bit about the offer. So, you know, attention parents and high school student athletes, you know, the NCSA network, blah, blah, you know, they want to maximize scholarships and help people get recruited for athletics, right? So that's this offer right here. This is what we want to look at. We want to look at the duration, the minimum call duration, okay? And we want to look at this one right here. Now, almost all of them are going to have a test call anyway, okay? So, 90-second minimum call duration. This one's a test call right here, just like any others. Duration I look for is under 2 minutes. Okay, 1 minute is ideal, but it's not typical that you're going to find that. So you'll usually pretty easily find 90 seconds, a 90-second one, but you want to keep it under 2 minutes. For example, I was doing really well with an offer, like I said, $20 payout, 1 minute duration. They pulled that offer recently, unfortunately. Now what happened was they came out with a replacement offer that was a $45 payout, but the duration was 3 minutes. Now here's something to keep in mind, and pay attention here. All I did was I went back to my conversion reports, which you can find in your Ring revenue reporting very easily. And what I did was I looked at all the durations of the converting calls. And I would say 80% of them were under 3 minutes. So now does it make sense for me to buy the same traffic that I was, but switch to a higher payout of double where the majority of the durations would even hit that? Probably not, no. So unfortunately, I didn't run the new one, and you know, right now I'm not running that offer, but they say they're going to be bringing it back, so I'm not going to say which one it is right now. So you have the option to do a test call. I typically do it if it's a newer offer. Some guys are saying if you're not from the U.S. and that sort of thing, it's tough to do the test call. I've been able to do the test call up in Canada. That hasn't been a problem for me. If you're not able to do the test call, but it has good network EPCs, that's not a big deal. I'd just go ahead with it. I typically only do the test call if it's a newer offer. Now, what am I looking for on the test call? First of all, does someone answer? Okay, that's a big thing. Is it interactive? So does it guide the person? A lot of times you're not going to get right to an agent right away. If you do, great, that's awesome, unless the agent sucks. But is it interactive? So is there an IVR? Does it say right away, thank you for calling blah, 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 press 1 to do this, press 2 to do that? Ideally, it has some sort of engagement device, okay? As an engagement device, it's going to get people into actually, you know, pushing 1, pushing 2, and getting to somebody. Are the engagement devices too long? Does it have like 5, 10 IVR prompts, or is it just a couple before you get to an agent? You want it to be a bit shorter, but you do want them to take action. And finally, do they suck on the phone? Does it sound like the agent's just trying to get you off the phone? Okay, now a lot of the major brand call centers and that sort of stuff, they have guys that are closers and trying to keep people on the phone, okay? But the fact is, if you got somebody on the phone who's like, hello, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, I don't know, give us a call back. Like, you don't want somebody like that, okay? That's going to screw your conversion quality. It's just not going to convert, okay? So now, at the bottom of that same page, we're going to see a few other things that we want to look at. On the right hand, so right here, it's going to tell us again the category that it's in, the name of the offer, that sort of stuff. Right here on the right, it's going to say the hours of operation. This is obviously really important. If we're running on AdWords or any network, for example, we don't want to be sending traffic when they can't accept it. So this is called day parting, as a lot of you guys probably know. We don't want to be sending traffic while they can't take calls. Okay. The offer again that I was running before was running 24/7. They said they had call agents 24/7. Regions. This one says all U.S. Keep in mind that some of them are not actually all U.S., where they miss a few states that they're not allowed to run. So again, you want to target properly. You don't want to just blanket the United States. You want to select the states that are applicable. In this case, we can select the U.S. Here's what we need to see: affiliate payout, $11.05 per call, and connection duration. So remember, if during hours, and connection duration, 1:30. Okay, and within the region, obviously. All right. So this so far seems like a good offer. We are over our $10 threshold. we got a minute 30 duration. That's not too bad. And the network EPC that it did show is reflecting that this would be a good offer. So that's college athletics recruiting PPC. On every offer that you apply for, every campaign, you have to put something in here of how you're going to actually promote the campaign. I swear the only thing that I put in here, guys, is mobile search PPC or mobile display, depending on whichever one I'm doing. I'd say 9 times out of 10, or 80% of the time, I'm doing mobile search PPC. I put that in there. That's all I say. I click here, I click there, and I apply to campaign. Now, the campaign approval, this is something that some of you guys might laugh at, but the campaign approval shouldn't take more than 48 to 72 hours, but it can take up to a week. So what I do is I will apply for a bunch of them. I'll apply for a bunch of the top ones that I might run. Even if I don't run them, no big deal, but I apply for a bunch of them. All right, so let's talk about traffic now. Now, here's one thing, though, I want to get clear. I could discuss like theoretical ideas or ideas that I haven't personally had success with here. But for now, what I'm going to do is I want to mention the highest percentage of success traffic sources for me personally. Okay, I may, after it, near the end, I'll discuss some experimental stuff that I've been testing, and by all means, feel free to test on any traffic source you want. A lot of them you may need landing pages and that sort of stuff, and I'll touch on landing pages a bit in a second. Honestly, it's not something I've done a lot of. I really have been getting my results just direct linking. So guys, we need to go back to the guys you love to hate, and that's the big G. So AdWords is where I've been running a lot of the stuff that's been converting for me. Okay, quite frankly, it's almost been too easy to get it to convert on AdWords search. By the way, somebody's asking, is this going to be recorded? It is going to be recorded. Not sure when I'm going to get the replay up. I do suggest you stay on and keep posted here. Okay, it's important because I'm not sure when I'm going to get it up. But somebody's asking about this is a good question. The call back in 30 days. What happens if they call back in 30 days? That doesn't mean if they just call back into the system, and if they just call back in the system, your conversion is killed, is wiped out. That's not how it works. It's if another person has sent the call, and when they get the call to the agents, if another person's done it, and the first call of yours didn't convert on their end, but the second one does, then yours will be struck out. It's very rare. I haven't had any calls actually have that happen to. So back to Google. Now, why Google? I know everybody hates them. I actually love Google. I have a few tricks to play with them, but anyway, why Google? Well, it's got the most search inventories for mobile phones. Okay, search traffic is ideal because the thing is, people are searching on their mobile phones right then and there. Okay, and they're ready to speak to someone right then and there. On a side note, guys, like in our forums, like I talk about local lead generation and local lead pay-per-call. This is why local stuff works so well. Somebody picks up the phone. I can't remember if it's like 80 or 90% of searches in Google on a mobile are like for local numbers, and that should give you some insight on the type of keywords you want to go after as well here. Okay, so it works great for local because people want to get an answer right away and possibly go to the actual office and that sort of thing right away. Now, search is also ideal because you have far less accidental clicks, okay? Now, what I mean by accidental clicks, I tried to find an image that showed fat fingers pushing texting, but I couldn't really find it. But when you're on a cell phone, and I want you to imagine you're on a cell phone, you see a banner, but the banner is integrated. Okay, the banner is integrated with a bunch of other the interface of an app you're using or a website that you're on or that sort of thing. Well, the chance for accidental clicks is much higher than when somebody actually searches for something specifically and then they see the ad pop up, the AdWords ad pop up, which kind of will look like this one if you guys can see it, and then it has the number right there. So to hit that accidentally is very hard, and plus the person just typed in notary, for example. Okay, so it's a far more targeted click. Now, do you insist on display networks? If you insist on display networks, here's the thing. If you insist on display networks, you have a few different options. You have jump tap, right? That's a really popular one. Clicks start at around 10 cents. If you got a rep there, you can get clicks down to 5 cents. They do have search as well. I haven't tested their search on there. I'm guessing they just access Google's inventory. AdMob is taken over by Google, so they have options as well. Google Display Network is more display. And there's an Android-only network. I'm not going to mention it on this call. Sorry, guys. It's been profitable for me. It is kind of the tracking kind of sketchy and hit and miss, but it's easy to find. Like I said, it is an Android-only network. One thing, if you do display, okay, consider running CPM. That's all I'm going to say about that. Based on the accidental click thing, that should make sense to you guys if you've ever run display. So there you go. But for the most part, you want to run on search. Is it more expensive? Yes, it is more expensive. Is it more responsive and higher converting? Absolutely. That's what I've found. So my targeting. Now remember I said that I'm practically a pay-per-call rookie, so I need you to understand that. I haven't even pushed hard on smartphones yet, to be honest. In fact, almost all of the revenue that I've run outside of the Android stuff has been a result of WAP-only targeting on AdWords and direct link. So if you're wondering also, guys, what is display and display marketing, that's like banner ads and that sort of stuff, media buying and all those sorts of things. So direct link, WAP, search marketing on AdWords is exactly what I've been doing. The other place with search traffic is Bing, MSN Ad Center. Whenever I've run campaigns there, not very much volume on mobile. So I've been sticking with AdWords a lot, and I've been getting a lot of volume there. Now, WAP phones are often what's called feature phones. Those are the ones like, the flip phones or the little Nokias, the stuff that's not a smartphone. That's pretty much the easiest way to put it. So let's do a little bit of an over-the-shoulder of how I set up a WAP direct link campaign in AdWords. So I'm going to be moving a little bit quick here, and we're gonna go from there. So just 1 second, please. All right, so in one of my AdWords accounts right here, and basically I'm going to go to New Campaign. All right, so if you're creating a new campaign, basically what you want to do is go to mobile and tablet devices only. And it's pretty simple here. I'll show you the way I set it up. It might be a little bit different than what you guys have seen for the AdWords, the WAP calls, and that sort of thing. So campaign name, we'll just go test campaign 1. For location, it's United States. Just 1 second here. Language is English, right? Advanced location options, don't worry about this right here. Networks, take off the display network if you're going to be going search, okay? Take off the networks if you're going to be doing search here. Search partners, keep that checked, right? Mobile devices with full browsers, you can keep that there. Take off tablets. Advanced mobile and tablet options. I'm just showing this, guys, because I know a lot of guys wanted to see how to do this, so I'm not going to take too long doing this. It's more the way I structure the keywords and that sort of stuff that might be of interest to you. So keep all that checked is usually how I do it. Now, default bid. Let's say I'm going to go into a network that I don't run traffic with. This is on OfferMobi. For obvious reasons, I don't want to show my mobile leads account and that sort of stuff. So let's go to the foreclosure one right here. And so we got a duration of 90 seconds, payout $17.50. Okay, so payout of $17.50. If you guys have ever seen Justin's course, he says it's like he tries to do half of what the payout is. I do it a little bit different. I just go to Google AdWords, the keyword tool, and I find the most obvious keyword, okay? Because the thing is, people aren't going to search for a lot of stuff on, people aren't going to search for, long keywords. Not too much anyway. I'll show you some exceptions in a second. But they're not going to search for big, long keywords on mobile for the most part. So I'm going to search, I want to go for volume, so I'll just put in foreclosure right here. And then United States and mobile WAP devices is what I want to select. So right here, this is under the advanced options. So if you go to Google Keyword Tool, it'll usually look like this for you here. So I'll go Advanced Options and Filters, United States, mobile WAP devices. Okay, you can go mobile devices with full internet browsers. It's going to usually give you a lot more volume, but that becomes smartphones and such. I'll go mobile WAP devices, and I'll go search. So here's the thing. There's a couple different ways you can structure the ad groups. Okay, a couple different ways. The first one you can do is the way that I started out, and I still do it this way. I go broad keywords at first in one account, in one campaign, and one separate account. Now, this is more if you have a budget to burn and you don't mind running at a near with really low quality scores, and just above or maybe just below a 0% ROI, like breaking even. So what I'll do is I'll go broad search possibly. So let's say I'll give you an idea of the volume differences. So foreclosure on broad match is 40,500 searches. Okay, 40,500 searches. With phrase match is 27,100. With exact match is 720. Okay, if I do it the first campaign setup, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do all broad match stuff. So I'll be going for volume in one campaign. Now what that's going to do is it's going to give me a low click-through rate, and it's going to give me a low quality score, as some of you guys have probably seen if you run on AdWords, especially with broad match. What I'll do is I'll run that campaign for a few days, and I'll try to show you here. Oh, sorry, I'll try to show you here. It's real quick. Okay, I can't really show you here while I'm on this screen. What I wanted to show you was after a few days in your keyword reports in AdWords, you can view what the actual keywords were that were typed in. Okay, and once we set up this fake campaign, I'll show you here in a second. But you can actually view the actual keywords that were typed in, not the ones that you bid on. Okay, and that's really important. So what I'll do is I'll run it broad, and that means I'll have a bunch of long tail keywords that'll come in, and they'll all cost me a bunch of clicks and that sort of thing. After a few days running, maybe like 5 days, I'll take the one that was getting the most searches. So the one that was getting the most searches just for the keyword on its own. So let's say it was foreclosure, and then I had homes foreclosure, homes in foreclosure, foreclosure on my home. I would take the one that was getting the most searches on its own, which would probably be foreclosure, and I would put that in a separate campaign, in a separate account, and I would start it as exact match or phrase match. Now, that's one way to go about it. The other way is to just start with exact match right away, as you normally would on a normal search campaign, and then go from there. With the bidding, if I've got cost per click here of below $5, right, I'm probably going to multiply my approximate cost per click by 5 to 8. Okay, that's usually how I'm going to find my my click cost. So let's go back to the campaign here. I'm going to have to start it up again here. 1 second, because I closed out the window accidentally. But that's kind of the way I'll do. I'll do 5 to 8 actual 5 to 8 times, of the payout of the click, and I'll do that as the estimated average click to start with. Let's go back here. I got to build this real quick. Sorry, guys. Rebuild it. Test 1. Okay. And United States. I'll do this real fast here. Okay. Good. We're good there. Okay, so let's say in that case it was times 5, so I might start it at $10. Okay. Now $10 seems high, I know. If you're not comfortable with that, you can do $5. I mean, the payout in this case is only $17.50, but I'll go with $10. It's more than half. But the big thing that you want to get, it's really important, is to get in the top 1.5 to 1 for average position. Okay. That's really, really important because otherwise your click-through rate is going to be too low. You're not going to be appearing in the spots that we need to appear. So budget, I might go 5 times or 10 times. So just right now, we'll just put 50 in there. Delivery method, standard for now. I'll do accelerated when I find something that's profitable and working. Add extensions. I'll add the call extension number. Okay. United States. I'm going to go create a new extension. That's an old number that I had in there. So where do we get the phone number from? I just want to do this real fast because you guys can find this all on your own. We get it under promo numbers, and this is a number that I used that I just set up for this call right here. Boom, right there, and we just paste it in there. Show my business number only on high-end mobile phones. Allow only click to call. That's what you want. You don't want to allow clicks to the website. So start date, blah, blah, ad delivery. Rotate show ads more evenly. This is important because I don't want Google to optimize in the beginning. I want to look at my tracking for phone calls and ads and that sort of thing to determine which ad I want to run continuously. And don't worry about the rest there. So save and continue. And this is the only other part that's kind of important for WAP, and I won't really get into much else. Create an ad. That's on the ad group section. You want to go WAP mobile ad. Okay, so this is how I structure it, a bit different than the way Justin and other guys do it. The way that I do it is I will do one keyword for the most part to start per ad group, the way I run a normal search campaign. And I'll just take, because Ring Revenue allows you to have 5 phone numbers, 5 promo numbers to start, I'll just take the top 5 highest volume keywords and I'll make an ad group for each one. And that's it. And that's the way I'll track right down to the keyword in the beginning. Okay, so it's a little different. I think the way Justin does it, I think, is like 50 keywords per ad group and that sort of stuff, and he just kind of eyeballs it and tracks from there. That's one way to do it. I'm not saying mine's different. I just like to optimize on the keyword level first, and then go from there because the volume and the click-through rate seems to be really important. So after that, I'd go save ad group, and then I would just create another ad group for another keyword and that sort of stuff. Still taking notes. If you guys are learning stuff, great. I'll try to jump ahead and answer questions here. I think we'll have time to do questions if you guys got more advanced stuff. Those of you that have actually done this stuff. So otherwise, if this is new to you, great. Ad group and keyword structure. So like as you see, I start with a small amount of obvious high volume keywords. Now you can go outside of one. You can go 5 keywords per ad group, but I just like to keep stuff really tightly themed. Okay, so foreclosure, foreclosure in Dallas, like Dallas, Texas. So foreclosure in Dallas, Texas. Foreclosure services in Dallas, Texas. So the theming keyword there would be Dallas, right? Dallas, Texas. So I want to keep them small. That's just the way I like to run it. It's similar to how I run a search campaign for CPA or other stuff. And like I said, I designate a phone number for each in order to track that way. Now, once I see which keywords or ad groups are getting the volume and converting, I'll turn off the others. Okay, I'll turn off the other ad groups and keywords, and you'll usually find pretty soon, because the WAP stuff, there isn't as much volume for the most part, so you'll usually see it's typically one keyword that's dominating. And what I'll do, I'll turn off the others, and I'll dedicate those phone numbers, right, those other phone numbers that I have, or I'll delete them and get new phone numbers, and I'll dedicate them to ad variations of the keywords and ad groups that we're getting volume and converting. Okay, I hope that makes sense, because at this point now, I want to split test the ad copy. Okay, the ad copy is important because it helps with relevance and click-through rate. But the way that I'm going to do it in the beginning, I'll talk about it, is like rapid-fire campaign generation. Okay. Now I mentioned Justin, like he does it larger ad groups, and that's what a lot of guys are doing now. More keywords and different type of bidding. Right. He does like half of the offer payout or something. So I'll be testing that setup soon. I've tested it once before. I didn't mind it. It's just maybe a paranoia thing. I just like to deal with smaller keywords, so I know that, okay, that keyword, that ad group is the one that's converting. I typically optimize on an ad group level when I do content network campaigns, or on a keyword level when I do search campaigns. So I just brought over what worked for me into the pay-per-call scene. All right, so the quality score issue, okay? The quality score issue. I'm just going to answer a couple questions here because they kind of relate to what we're talking about, okay? So someone's asking why test exact match. I think is why test exact match with a different account. All right, so if we've, and now Will can probably confirm on this, but I've noticed that if you have one account, this is kind of like an advanced thing, but if you have one account that historically gets poor quality score, it's hard to get that account up with a higher quality score. You guys have probably seen this when you start out a new account. More often than not, you might start at a 7, which is like an average 7 quality score. So what I'll do is I might beat up my quality score in one account just to find, just to see the numbers of click-through rate and search volume, actual search volume, that sort of stuff. I'll then take that keyword that's working and put it exact match into a new campaign in a new account. And what that's going to do is it should, and more often than not it does, especially on like normal search campaigns, and it does with pay-per-call, is it'll give me a higher click-through rate right out of the gate. Okay, so I'm building up what's called a proof of concept, and I'll do a proof of concept before I do a media buy or that sort of thing. So I'm doing what's called a proof of concept. I'm building out what the click-through rate and that sort of thing is in one campaign or one account, and I'll move it over to another account. Okay, so why am I only running WAP phones? That was another question by Mattson. To be quite honest with you, that's just I just wanted the direct link, and that's just what I found right away to use, and I went ahead with doing that. Like I said, I want to get more into smartphones, but by all means, go ahead on the smartphones. There's a lot more volume. If you go to the Google keyword tool right now, just type in foreclosure, and then select smartphones, you'll see how much more volume there is there. So it's definitely one to go ahead on. I want to be going ahead on it. Just been busy, but the WAP stuff is pretty straightforward, and so I decided to test that. Okay. So starting with exact match is going to limit volume, but it's going to raise your click-through rate and your quality score. Direct linking, your click-through rate is going to be very important, the most important thing. Back in like 2009, 2010, Google said that quality score was 60% of your click-through rate. Okay, so at the end of the day, your click-through rate is going to be extremely important, especially in this case when we don't have a landing page and that sort of stuff. Now, so again, that's why if you start with a exact match in just one account, and that's all you have, one account, starting with exact match is your best bet with high bids. Starting with exact match is your best bet to get placement and high click-through rate. Now, you have two options, okay? You have two options. Like I said, start with broad, filter after the fact, or exact, or start with exact and tier down to phrase match, okay? That's what I discussed before, so those are your kind of two options. If you have another option or another strategy, by all means try it out. That's just what's worked for me. Now, on some broad campaigns with a quality score of 2 and a cost per call, an actual cost per call of $9 to $12, my ROI was still 40%. So I'm going to talk real quick because we got some time here. I'm going to talk real quick about optimization. Now, this is stuff that a lot of people don't talk about, especially on a free webinar. But to give you an idea, $9 to $12 was my actual cost per click on that call. My starting bid was $33. Okay, $33 per click. I'm not saying you got to go do that. I know it's a little unnerving to do that, but I bid $33 to get position 1. It's a brute force. If you guys have seen Traffic Black Book, you're familiar with that. It's a brute force. I kind of get myself to position 1, position 1.2 in that area. Now, when I bid that high, every call I get is I'm not going to be paying $33 for it. Okay, after 24 hours, I might be paying, $20. Okay, might be paying $20. But even though I'm bidding 33. So now after 24 hours, if I see that I'm actually paying $20 and my position's good, I'll drop my bid down to $20. Okay, follow another 24 hours. Okay, now after 24 hours, because I dropped that bid down to what I was actually paying, then what I'm going to do is I'll probably end up paying around $15. So now the next day I'm going to drop it down to $15. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to keep doing that sort of thing. Keep dropping it down until I start to see my position, my position for the day on the ads, and you can see that in your AdWords panel. I'm going to start to, until it goes below 1.5, 1.4, okay? Then if it does, I'm going to bump it up again. So to give you an idea, I was still bidding around $15 when I started getting a cost per call of around $9 to $12, okay? My ROI was still 40%, like I said on that one. So that's how I'm going to optimize. That's how I'm going to start chopping down. Okay, so that's to give you an idea. That's how I'm going to start chopping down from one day to the next. Now, if after all that time I have those keywords and such that are converting for me, then I know which to take into a new account, or ideally maybe I started in exact match. One thing here, I can show you where in AdWords you can see the actual. Okay, where is it? this one. 1 second, please. Oh, sorry, guys. All right, so right here. So when you're under your keyword tab, okay, so you guys are all seeing my keywords now, but when you're under the keyword tab, you go to search terms here, and you go to all, okay? So these ones right here are the ones that I actually bid on, okay? When I go all, these are the ones that were actually searched, okay? These are the keywords that are actually searched. And then I can check clicks, you know, which ones brought in the most clicks, okay? So really only one of them brought in, you know, more than one click. The rest of them were long tail type of things, right? But we look at impressions, that's what I want. Okay, so rehab was the one that had the most impressions over time. So I'm probably going to want to do variations of rehab if that campaign launches again, if that campaign starts up again. I'm not going to tell you guys which campaign it was. I probably told you too much already. But so we want that high click-through rate. So you see what we did, exact match. I started this exact match after I had broad match of rehab variations before. So this was before I did the multiple campaign thing. This was in one campaign. Exact match, 3.92%. Okay, not a lot of volume on this, but if you look how much long tail stuff we had. Okay, so there's a lot of long tail in there, but the majority of my conversions actually came from the shorter tail stuff. Okay, so just keep that in mind from the rehab variations. So I knew with rehab it's going to work out that way, but with the click-through rate, you want it to you need to get that click-through rate up really quick. Alcohol detox, that was another one, but really low volume here at this point. So now in recent tests, like I said, the solution seems to be like a rapid-fire campaign generation on exact match. Okay, so like it's like a rapid-fire strategy. So basically, what I would do is I would start up a bunch of campaigns and just look for the ones that have the highest click-through rate right out of the gate on exact match. Okay, if it's under a 1.5%, you know, after 24 hours, I'm going to kill it and I'm going to start a new one with new ads. Okay. What the low quality score is telling you on these WAP ads is that your ad is not getting a high click-through rate compared to the other advertisers using the same keyword, okay? That's very important. That's real important to understand. So consider moving higher click-through rate keywords into a new account, okay? Now, position is going to make a big difference on your click-through rate for WAP ads. Okay, so shoot for a 1 to 1.5, as I said, and this means bidding high in most cases. Now, optimizing and tracking. Now, what I like to do is I like to wait 24 hours as mentioned and optimize via click-through rate first. On search, I get rid of stuff under 1.5. Incidentally, on you know, display network for CPA campaigns, usually I'll do under 0.1%. That gives you an idea of the variances I look at between search and display network. I'll then start optimizing via ads once I've applied the phone numbers there. So, you know, at this point in the campaign, we've used our 5 phone numbers within the, you know, within the Ring Revenue interface for ad groups or keywords. So not many of them. I'll then, once I find stuff that's converting, I'll create a separate campaign or in a separate account, and then I'll start split testing ads with different phone numbers. And the way I'll name the phone numbers would just be like, because in the Ring Revenue interface you can name the phone numbers, so I'll just name them ad 1, keyword, whatever. And then so in my reports later, I know how to do it, okay? And somebody's saying it sounds like Chad has 2 accounts. Chad has several accounts. He does have 2 accounts. Right now I have about 4 accounts, okay, that I run stuff through. So just to give you an idea. Like I said, I'll start optimizing by ads. The key really seems to be the high click-through rate out of the gate. It's similar like with multiple campaigns. So it's similar to how I run Facebook now. Okay, the way I run Facebook now, I don't want to get too much into it. Outside of pay-per-call is I do what's called campaign grouping. So I learned it from a very smart Facebook guy, and the way it works basically is I just do multiple campaigns that are smaller and just look for the ones that have the highest click-through rate instead of multiple ads within you know, one campaign group. Will's saying he has 40 plus AdWords accounts, so that's he beats me by 10. So there you go. You win, Will. All right. Optimizing and tracking, this was asked, you know, you don't use normal trackers like Will's Tracker or Prosper or CPV Lab. You don't use sub-IDs. You don't use pixels. However, Ring Revenue, they did just implement pixels for landing pages, okay? Because you can run mobile landing pages. Again, guys, that's something I told you that I don't do. I haven't done yet. Am I going to get into it? Probably. I got a mobile landing page generator, so I'm pretty lazy when it comes to landers, though, always have been. But for the most part, you can implement their pixel on the landing page, and then they have a ring pool feature. Now, what a ring pool is it's a group of numbers, and those group of numbers will change the number on your lander based on the keywords that come in. So then you can track the keywords that way, okay? So, again, I haven't played with ring pools. I've just done this direct linking thing and have found profit that way, so maybe I'm a bit spoiled. Question, good question here. Do you put the phone number in the ad text? I think it was answered, but yeah, when you do the call extension thing, when you're setting it up, it puts the phone number in there automatically. Because you have a very small amount of room to write a WAP ad, you don't usually it's like for that addiction one, the rehab one. The keyword was rehab, and then my headline was like need rehab ? And then it would all I'd say in the body copy, because I didn't have a lot of room, was we're here to help, or call us. We'll talk, something like that, right? Those are the types of ad copies that I use, okay? Now, third-party tracking systems. This is something that Will and I were talking about testing. There are some third-party tracking systems out there that I've used for local lead generation, for local pay-per-call stuff, okay? So where I have some buddies and some businesses that I know offline, and they pay me on a per-lead basis. There's a program called If by Phone. Okay, If by Phone will track AdWords campaigns down to the keyword, and it'll tell you, call duration, all that sort of stuff, and will tell you what keyword brought the call. Well, I was thinking of it, and Twilio is another one that Will mentioned, and I think that we'd be able to hook up the If by Phone number to the Ring Revenue number and track that way, keywords that way. I could be missing something in my head there, but I think that would work. And so I think If by Phone's maybe like $75 a month or $60 a month. So I think it is possible as well. So that's something I probably want to try out. All the revenue, though, I've generated so far in this has been done exactly as mentioned, just with multiple promo numbers and that sort of thing, okay? Someone's asking, what is a ring pool? A ring pool is like just a bunch of phone numbers. Okay, it's just a bunch of phone numbers that you use when you're doing landing pages, and basically it's a way of tracking which phone number generated the call on the landing page, which keyword did. So that's only if you're using landing pages. Now, once you hit certain call thresholds, you're given more promo numbers. Like once you've driven like 100 calls and that sort of thing, they open up the amount of numbers that you get. Theories and conspiracies. These are just things that I'm going to be testing out pretty quick and just want to do, myself, and feel free to somebody beat me to the punch on it. I'll be testing them soon when I have time, LOL, when I have time. So pay-per-call and CPV, I did some small tests on here. Before I had heard of it, I just thought this would be actually a really good idea, and it worked out. It worked out, I was hitting about 30% ROI, and again, optimizing tracking was kind of tricky, but all I did is I sent them to the lander, to a pop lander. You guys that know my landing page formula, that's pretty much how the type of lander that I made, hero shot on the left, headline at the top, on the right side, a few bullets, call to action, but in this case the call to action was a phone number, and it's done all right with CPV. And scaling it up, if you can scale up on CPV, obviously the traffic can be cheap. I still think CPV is actually expensive traffic. I don't know why people think it's so cheap, but that has a lot of promise. One thing I want to try is pay-per-call on Facebook. Facebook's disapproved a few of my ads. Surprise, surprise. But I'm going to go to a fan page next and make it just look like a company fan page. So like a foreclosure company fan page or something, or a recruiting fan page. Yeah, Will's telling me to stop. Well, I've already shared my keywords, so I might as well just keep going. Shit. Okay, so pay-per-call on Facebook's another one. Pay-per-call via email traffic. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. Congrats, you've qualified. Call us now. Pay-per-call on the monetized thank you page of a pseudo merchant setup. You guys in 6 months from today, you guys know what I mean there. to expedite your qualification, please call, right? A clever adult campaign is one that I've thought of. That's all I'm going to say. A hint to what the offer would be was shown today. I'm not going to say any more than that. I really want to run this one, and that would be pretty slick. On the landing page, if I'm getting web traffic, somebody's asking, I wouldn't do click to call, okay, because somebody's on their computer. So on Facebook, Facebook's supposed to be bringing in mobile ads, I think in March. So that would be cool. Maybe we can try that out. But with web traffic, they're going to have to pick up the phone, and that's what I've done so far. With the mobile landing page, like I said, I haven't done a lot of the mobile click-to-call stuff with the ring pools. So the possibilities really are endless with such high converting, high payout offers. I just think it's a really cool type of CPA to test out. And why not test out your other traffic sources, like Facebook and that sort of stuff. I'm sure we'll see a lot more popping up. We got 100 some on the call now. We had 300 some registered, and if I get the recording out, we'll see what else is there. So how many other people start popping campaigns up. But I just wanted to show you what I've had experience with myself. But there are so many ways to promote this. What you have to understand is people will nowadays, people are used to filling out forms and stuff for CPA offers. Obviously, we've all done that sort of thing, promoted those type of offers. But conversions on a phone call are so much higher. Okay, this is why BizOp merchants and that sort of thing, BizOp advertisers, they back out into a phone room. Okay, because a phone call converts so much higher once they have somebody on the phone. So that addiction offer that I had, just to give you an idea, with those exact keywords that I accidentally showed everybody, that was converting at 60%. I don't know why. I mean, it's probably because my keywords are pretty targeted, but that was converting at 60% on some days, which is pretty ridiculous for an offer that pays out $20. Okay, so you don't see conversions like that on a normal CPA offer. Even mailers don't. So continued training and taking things to the next level. This isn't, like I said, this isn't a pitch webinar or nothing. I did say Justin Ellenberg. He's a guy I learned a lot from. He has that product. I've mentioned it to my list, the Mobile Money Bandit. That's where I learned most about my pay-per-call stuff, and then I started to change based on my experience. Okay, it is thorough, covers free traffic methods, AdWords more in depth on WAP and smartphones. So I do recommend picking it up if you want to see another angle on free traffic and all sort of stuff for pay-per-call. My list already knows. I'll just mention it now. Will was like, don't do a hard sell, and I didn't want to do a hard sell, but I'm just mentioning it now. Until February 12th, I'm offering the entire Traffic Black Book system as a bonus for Mobile Money Bandit. It's Traffic Black Book's 15 hours of paid training. It's PPC, media buying, Facebook, Plenty of Fish, ad networks, etc. It's one of the most comprehensive courses on paid traffic that you'll find. And Will and I also said we're going to give we're giving the option of Traffic Black Book or 14 days free in the 6 months from today forum. The forum promo is only till midnight, and that's for real. But everything else goes until the 12th. So if you guys want to take you up on that, like I said, no pressure. You just go to chatamc.com/webinar special. It'll load there for about 4 or 5 seconds, and away you go. And then you email us with the details, info@trafficblackbook.com, and just email us with username, password, and we'll hook you up for free. But other than that, that is all I got for you tonight. I think I can do. I think we can do about 10 minutes. 10 minutes of questions. I'll try not to ramble and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, if you guys want to start putting some questions through, we'll try to field them, see what I can do. Like I said, I'm not a Jedi in pay-per-call. I could tell you what's worked for me. So we got about 10 minutes now. It's about 7 minutes after 8 where I am. I know Will's been answering stuff as we've gone on, so that's awesome. He's answered a bunch of the questions. So let's take a look at what questions we got. Okay. Hope baby and mom are doing great. Thank you, David. Yeah, they're doing great. Frank's asking, is that for members? The 6 months from today one is what you're talking about? Just let me know there, Frank. Biker Boy, Alfred, my man, this webinar is soul gold. I hope you learned something from it. Like I said, my strategy is a bit different than the way Justin does his stuff. I had to take the first half of it to just explain the basics. A lot of you guys, don't have, you might not have done it before, so I had to kind of explain the basics of it. And then, the Facebook stuff I think has a lot of potential. I'm going to stop talking about that, but oh yeah, also in the forum, guys, well, I'll mention it later to the forum guys about the bulk uploader stuff. We got different options. So, Robert's asking, what's an ad group? An ad group, Robert, is a I went blank for a second, which is odd because Google is my biggest traffic source back in the day. An ad group is like a collection of keywords that you commit a specific ad to. Okay, so you could have 2, 3, 4, 5 ads in one ad group specific to X number of keywords. That's how it works. Frank, for Traffic Black Book, yeah, it is. Also, yeah, you guys, real quick, if you're already a Traffic Black Book member, then you get the next upgrade up if you pick up Justin's course, and if you pick up his upgrade, then I'll give you a CPA truth and everything. So, yeah, but yeah, yes, that is Frank, absolutely. Biker Boy, learned a hell of a lot. I get low, okay, here's Eric. I get low clicks and impressions for most of my WAP direct campaigns on Google. Eric, that's probably for the quality score, I'm guessing. Try out some of these things. Try out in a new account. I'm surprised nobody's asked me a question about accounts yet, but try it in a new account, and away you go. And you see, go for exact match first, Eric. Try that out first. Site's not loading. Real quick. That'd be funny. Let's see, site's not loading. Loading for me there, Ben. Yep, loading for me. All right, 1 second. Yeah, Daniel's asked me for those who already have Traffic Black Book, any other bonus? Yeah, Daniel, so if you, let's say you get Mobile Money Bandit, I'll give you the X edition. If you already have the X edition, I'll give you CPA Truth. If you just have TBB and you get his upgrade, I'll give you the entire CPA Truth and everything, right? So yeah, you have options for sure. Yeah, Frank. Yeah, if the Traffic Black Book system, you'll get that for free if you pick up the Mobile Money Bandit. A lot of the info is already in our forum, but yeah, Traffic Black Book's a little more linear, step by step, right? Can you show the? Okay, John's asking. Can you show the screen with the networks to apply to? I'm guessing he means the affiliate networks. Okay, I'm just gonna move this out of the way. My recording might look a little funky. Those ones right there. All right, Ray's asking, have you heard of Google banning AdWords accounts for pay-per-call? If so, do they have issues with it? I haven't had any accounts banned, and I'm running them so far out of my sketchy account primarily. I have one account that's a sketchy account, and then I have another account that's like all on the board where I do some client stuff and that sort of thing. I haven't been banned direct linking with it at all. Michael's asking, how much did you spend before you broke even? That's a good question. I'm not kidding, man. When I started doing pay-per-call, I pretty much was negative 10% right out of the gate, with no optimization. It was pretty ridiculous. I've never had results like that. That's why I kind of say it is easy to do. The biggest thing is bid high, right? Bid high, get the high click-through rate. That's where it might scare off some people, right? Ideally you can do a $50 a day budget and that sort of thing, just to test out, but really, I almost broke even. I've always been going with campaigns that have a high network EPC. Frank's asking, I need to know how to separate the ad groups. Give me more clarification on that. Anthony, will there be a recording of this call? Yes, there is. Millen saying, I thought Google does not allow multiple accounts. That is true. Unless you're managing clients. That's actually not entirely true. Unless you're managing clients and you have an MCC account. I don't have either of those. Well, I manage some clients in one account, but I just open multiple accounts. I don't want to go too much into the multiple account thing, guys. It's not a black hat webinar. I'll just tell you this. The way that I do multiple accounts, I reset an IP address. Okay, I get my, anytime I want to set up a new account, I reset my IP address. I get my, my ISP to reset my IP address. I then go and I just set up a new account with a different credit card number. Now, this is one thing a lot of people don't know about Facebook and Google accounts, okay? I will, all you need is a different credit card number, a different postal code, and a different security code on the back. That's it. I will make up a name and make up an address and put it in there, okay? All they use for verification is the address, and sorry, not the address, the postal code and the credit card number and the security code. That's it. All right, how much money should I start with? Robert, if you got $500, that's great. I always, if you got $500 to start with, you know, I always recommend that if you're starting a new traffic source. That's great. You know, more the better. If you got 1,000, 2,000, great. I found it's pretty easy to break even on this stuff. Chad saying, I see a lot of offers in CJ that require the use of IVR. Do you avoid those? My first successful campaign was with an IVR. It was a $45 payout. It was a tax settlement. I was paying high clicks. That was on the Android network and AdWords at the same time, and I was converting. So, yeah, so that one, I've converted that. If it doesn't have an IVR, it's even better. Richard saying, this webinar was amazing, and you gave it away for free. Whoa, I just joined 6 months from today. Do you have some similar videos in there that are similar to this step by step? Not yet, right? Like, I mean, the pay-per-call thing was kind of accidental. Like, I mentioned it, and then people were like, "Oh, this sounds pretty cool." I'll probably put this video in our members area as well. Okay, it'll go in the members area first, and then I'll send it out to the rest afterwards. Danny, I think I already answered that about the additional accounts. Cool. Frank saying, you know, MMB has two options, the $77 one and the upgrade. Like I said, if you order the upgrade, I just give you all my stuff, but if not, I give you Traffic Black Book either way, so no problem there. Multiple accounts, all the multiple account questions coming now, so I mentioned how to do that there, guys. Besides link share and CJ, this is a good question. Which ones have converting offers? I like mobile leads myself, mobile leads, and I've heard good things about offer mobies, but as you saw, I don't run any traffic with them. Do we need to have multiple good AdWords accounts? You don't need to do it, but I just showed you the reason why I do it. So, Edwin saying Traffic Black Book and Mobile Money Bandit are great. Thank you. I agree. I think they're actually excellent complements to each other since I go over so many other traffic things in Traffic Black Book. Jeff's asking, why do I like mobile leads over OfferMobi? I'm already in OfferMobi and would like to try them unless they suck. I don't think they suck. I've heard a lot of good things about OfferMobi. I've done some normal CPA stuff with them, not too much, and they're fine, so I'll go ahead with them. I just went with mobile leads first. I was just like, okay, yeah, check them out, and there you go. It seemed cool. It was easy enough to get into. Can you use POF to run plenty of fish to run offers? I don't see why not. You got to get them to a lander to pre-sell, and there you go. Okay, almost done with the questions. What do you put in your company profile for CJ Ring revenue? General promotional methods. Remember, Mike, I normally do my stuff through mobile leads, and but on the CJ side, I still do the same thing, but I have to prove that I've been running a lot of volume on their stuff. That's basically the way I do it. Okay, let's see. I got to move through these fast, guys. We're running out of time here. When you said test new ad variation from successful. All right, Biker Boy is asking, when you said you test new ad variation from successful keywords in new AdWords, is it the same keyword? Yes, it's the same keyword. Okay, I just paid for mobile. Okay, cool. That's good. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate picking it up. I'm sure you'll love it. What's your thoughts on how to scale? Eric, on how to scale, could be different traffic sources. For me now, currently, the way that I do it is I just start, once I find the converting keywords and ad groups, I just start to build up on those keywords specific. And then I go, so like rehab, let's say rehab. I'll go rehab Little Rock. Like, okay, whatever. I don't know why I thought of Little Rock, Arkansas, but I'll do the keyword that was converting then geographically, okay? And then I'll do it that way. Ryan's saying, what is an IVR? Ryan, you ever call a place and they say, push 1 to do this, push 2 to do that, push 3 to do this? That's what an IVR is. Jeff's asking how much PPC is going to be in 6 months from today. We cover PPC and just about every traffic source in there, sales funnels, all that sort of stuff. It's quite a bit different than PPC Coach in that respect. Okay, with additional accounts, it doesn't matter that the same. All right, Chad's saying, with additional accounts, it doesn't matter that the name on the account doesn't match the name on the card. No, it doesn't. I make up a completely different name and address. I just keep postal code, credit card number, and security code. Jeff's saying, sign up for Mobile Money Bandit. There's a big webinar tomorrow at 5 p.m. I'm glad I didn't schedule this one on the same day. Can you run offers on MSN? Yes, you can. Not a lot of volume, though. Thanks, man, Chad. You rock. Thank you. Are you going to win the 200-mile-per-hour race? This is. Thank you. I need to real fast. Will, I have to do this shameless promotion here. If you guys go to my blog and go to chadhamsey.com, and at the bottom of my latest post here, it's a good read anyway. There is a link right here. Please go vote for me. I was ahead of Mr. Green and all these guys. Now I'm in second place, but I got some tricks up my sleeve, and it's going to be a pretty interesting case study if I win. If I don't win, I'm not going to show the case study. So so please go and vote for me. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me, Trevor. Can we use pay-per-call for 7 search? You'd have to go to a lander, and you know, then after that, it's just a matter of getting the call, right? Just like on Facebook or anything else. Yeah, Eric, multiple campaigns on WAP, keywords. As you saw, a lot of the keywords that were coming in that were actually typed in were like new searches. Okay, so you know you can start doing. You can go on and on and on. Like I know in Mo Money Bandit, the way that Justin does his keywords, he does a lot of keywords. Like he starts adding more and more keywords. Again, I've gotten good results, and I haven't taken it to his level, but I also haven't made $1 million with pay-per-call. So. You know, but he starts to scale up more and more and more, and he's obviously good at that. Moon, my agency site is dsv2.com. That's DougSamVictor2.com. Jeff, 2 favorite niches, addiction and tax. Thank you, Vivian. I'm glad you can make it. I'm glad you liked it. Is this offered just for the MMB course or for the upsells too? Not just for the base Mobile Money Bandit course. It'll give you a traffic black book, or the 14 days if it's before midnight. Okay, guys, I got to start wrapping this up. Can we cheat and vote multiple times? I would love it if you did, but I think they track it by IP. If you reset your IP, get a new AdWords account, vote for me if you want. Example, blah, blah, blah. Frank, ask the example questions in the forum if you can, please. Okay, I used the link, blah, blah. Thanks, Chad. I learned a lot from the webinar. Okay, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank all you guys for coming in here. Did you guys enjoy it? I hope you did. Like I said, some of it was basic. Some of it was more on scaling and that sort of things. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Free webinar. I said, what the hell, I like doing these, and I'm going to do a paid webinar one day. Just imagine what I'd share on that. Actually, I got an interesting webinar coming up. I don't want to say too much about it. All I'm going to say is like top secret weapon, and it's not like hype type stuff. Like you're going to be amazed what we're going to do, and that's going to come in like 2 weeks or so. I'm not going to say any more than that, but other than that, that is all I'm going to say. Will, do you want to say anything, man? Hello, Will. No, Will's good. Okay, guys, let's wrap it up. If you guys are in the forum, we'll see you in the forum. Like I said, if you want to pick up Mobile Money Bandit, we'll give you a free 14 days in the forum until midnight tonight. That is Eastern time. Or Traffic Black Book, that goes until the 12th. After that, I'm relaunching Traffic Black Book. And so I'm never going to give them away as free bonuses after that. So good night, Godspeed, as they say, and that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you soon.